Hi, welcome again to the Clayjar. I'm really glad to have you back with me again. Today we're gonna take a look at a very fascinating subject. It's called faith and technology, navigating through the digital age as believers. Now, why I think this topic is important is due to its inherent relevancy in our everyday living. Since technology has become so well integrated into the way we lead our lives, there runs a very significant risk of being overrun by it altogether. Why I say this is because we are using technologies like mobile phones and laptops and e-readers like this and tablets and so many other devices for our work, for our hobbies, for everyday consumption, for entertainment, and so many other things that sometimes the line between our physical world, the world which we are doing, and the digital world seems to fade away, and which is actually leading us into a cycle of negative habits which are impacting our spiritual and mental well-being, and sometimes also our physical well-being, and it becomes quite a nuisance for us. So we'll also take a look at certain verses which are trying to elucidate the same concept, and we'll try to understand the challenges in the use of technology for us believers and how we can overcome them. And also we'll take a look at some strategies how to balance our use of technology with better resources available in technology, which can complement us, kind of help us to be more productive in life instead of going into that unproductive cycle. So we'll see that through the course of this video. Now I would like to begin by quoting two verses for you, for your understanding. So first we'll take a look at Ephesians 5:15 and 16. It says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity." This is a very beautiful verse, and it says three things quite beautifully. It says, be very careful how you live, and you must live wisely, not unwisely, and make use of every opportunity. Right? Now, why these three things are important and how they relate to our use of technology is because technology in itself carries a flip side to it, right? There are two sides of the coin when it comes to technology. There is one thing which we can use it to be productive in life, be it for your work, your hobbies, your interests, or other things, your leisure activities, or you can be unproductive out of it, right? So it is a choice that we have to make, and therefore we have to make the wise choice. So if we do not make the wise choice, we run the risk of falling into this cycle of bad decisions and becoming a prey of negative behavior and a negative consumption, which has a very detrimental effect on our overall well-being, on our physical and our mental health, and also our spiritual health, our spiritual journey. Also, we'll take a look at another verse which says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind," as mentioned in Romans chapter 12 verse 2. These two verses underpin this entire subject of how we are going to balance and strategize consumption of technology and media. So when we take a look at the verse from Ephesians, it is suggesting us wise use of technology, right? So I was brainstorming through certain things, and I was thinking to myself, what can be some wise uses of technology which we can practice as we consume technology and media and other forms of entertainment through our day. And something which I do personally is looking up sermons or devotionals, or perhaps theological videos, exegetical videos of verses and passages, books in the Bible, and it brings a new perspective on biblical passages, on verses, on parables, on prophecies, or anything which is in the scripture. So that to me is very helpful because it helps me it assists me in making these videos, for one, for my secondly for my own personal study, and also for my spiritual meditation and my contemplation. Another thing which you can do is you can look up certain things to upskill yourself. Like for one, what I like to do is look up editing videos on YouTube, right? Because when I'm making these videos for you and for others, it requires a lot of editing, right? And if it helps me to create a better video when I know editing tips and tricks and how to navigate through the editing software and all these things. If I don't have that, I cannot make a video like this or hope to get better at what I'm doing. So this is something which I do not on a regular basis, but whenever I'm publishing a new video. For instance, right after this shot, I think I'll be sitting on YouTube for an hour trying to look at new editing strategies and try to incorporate that into my edit. So that's something which I like to do. Another thing which I also like to do is look up other things like how to write better. I like writing, and I also like to look up other things which will help me in getting better at my hobbies and my other areas of interest, like leisure activities and other things. So this is something which I can encourage you to do, right? When you are on the internet, when you're on YouTube, or when you're on your social media platforms, try to substitute all the doom scrolling with productive measures, right? You can try to look up a new course so that you can upskill yourself. Perhaps you can do something which you have been wanting to do for a long time, and that can help you make a little bit of money, right? Or it can help you become better at what you have been doing for a long time and allow you to take that next step into becoming an intermediate or an expert, right? So those are certain things which you can do, and there are several outlets for that. The most popular one being YouTube itself. Think of any subject, and there are thousands of videos present which you can watch and then you can learn from. Another outlet for this are your digital courses, online courses like Domestika and Coursera, and I'm not sure about the other websites, but yeah, there's several out there which you can enroll, you can participate. It comes with a fee and a subscription, but you can to make use of time when you enroll into a new course and learn something new, get a new skill and make use of that, even to make money or just for yourself. So that's something which you can substitute. Another thing which you can do is make use of technology in a way which aids your spiritual journey, right? What I like to use sometimes, not all the times, is an app called the Bible Chat AI. If I remember correctly, that's the name of the app. So I'll place an icon over here somewhere so you can take a look at it. You can download it on your phones, on your other devices, even your laptop. And what it essentially is, it is an artificial intelligence custom tailored and trained on the Bible and biblical resources. So just like you have ChatGPT and you write a question, you pose a question, and ChatGPT presents a response for that, right? This is the ChatGPT for Bible. What it actually does is that if you have a question related to the Bible, it can be anything. It can be from the Old Testament, it can be something about the creation, about the resurrection, anything of that sort. You ask it a question, it will prepare a detailed response and give it to you, and you can read it, you can save it later, and you can expand on that. You can ask it to write sermons for you. You can ask that AI to write devotionals for you and other things also. If I remember correctly, you can even make biblical art also, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, you can try it for yourself and see if it works for you. Now, when you're using these other measures, like consuming YouTube for getting better at something, or getting enrolled into a course, or maybe just using this Bible Chat AI or other things, getting more on the productive side, what you're actually doing is that train your mind to rely on technology for productivity rather than doom scrolling. So when you're training your mind that, okay, whenever I get on my phone, I'm going to be watching something to get better at, or whenever I open my laptop, I'm going to be researching a biblical verse or a passage or something which can assist me in my spiritual journey. You are basically weaning out all that time you're spending for Instagram, Facebook, and other things. I'm not saying you should totally get rid of it. It's very hard, and of course, it is entertainment, and sometimes you can get a kick out of it. I mean, it's not something which you need to totally get rid of. But what I'm saying is that when you replace these other things, these other platforms, what you're doing basically is that the limited time that you spend in your use of technology, you are instead using for the productivity. So you're not getting your time anymore. Whenever you're using a laptop or a phone to consume media or anything else, you're watching something. You're watching to get better at something. So when you're getting better at something, there is no time wasted at all, is what I'm trying to say actually. So then essentially there are no withdrawal symptoms, because if you totally do away with your phones and your mobiles and your laptops and your screens and all these things, there are going to be some negative consequences. You're not going to be able to digest that, right? For obvious reasons, because you've been used to that shot of Instagram, that shot of that auditory or that visual shot of dopamine which you get out of your phone screen or your laptop screen, that you're going to miss it. And because in a way it is kind of an addiction, there is going to be some withdrawal symptoms if you totally do away with these things. So what we do is that instead of totally doing away with these things, we're replacing with healthier habits, so that whenever you're on the phone or the laptop, you're doing something productive, your mind is getting engaged in a better activity, in a healthy activity, so that you don't miss out on that doom scrolling anymore. So this is one aspect of it. Another thing is that what we can do is we can try to manage our time in a better way, right? If we manage time in a better way and allocate time for other things which are involved in the real world, we will have lesser time to spend on technology, on phones and laptops and other things. Now, once again, I will stress that it does not mean that you need to totally lock your phone up and put your phones in the locker, or just don't touch it at all. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is that when you're allocating more time into the physical world, right, meeting people, going out, just having a conversation on the phone, or maybe just doing some gardening outside, or maybe going out for a walk, or just doing anything that you like to do, reading a book, right? Reading a book or anything which is involved in the real world, which does not involve a piece of technology. You are training your mind to get that dopamine and that excitement out of the real world activities. And if it gets incorporated in the part of your routine, this is going to assist you in a better living and result in an overall mental and physical well-being, which is far more important and is a better alternative. So yeah, you can do that through systematic time management. You can limit the screen time. For instance, you can say, okay, I'm going to use Instagram for only 2 hours. 2 hours also is actually quite a lot. I have gone down from 5 hours to less than 1 hour quite lately. So I would actually say less than 1 hour is more suitable. But yeah, you can start at 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever seems best for you. 3 hours I think is not advisable. Try to have that 2 hour baseline and then go lower than that. So try to do that, and then you will find more time to do the things in the real world. Then you can incorporate time, allocate time for other tasks in your life. You can spend more time in scripture reading, the things which you want to do, which you have been wanting to do for your spiritual betterment, for your spiritual evolution, spiritual journey. We all know it is quite important to spend time in scripture, time in prayer, time in meditation, devotion. All of these will form a very strong base for our other routine which we have lined up for the day. For me personally, how I like to start up my day is early morning at 5:30. I get up and read the Bible. I spend time in the presence of the Lord. I meditate, I pray, and then I proceed with the other tasks for the day. Then I go to my my job, and then I come back and I do other things. I read a book, and I listen to some music. I do things in the real world, and then I try to put Instagram on the bare minimum. But yeah, even I cannot escape the fancies of Instagram. Most of the times, it is very lucrative, and it's very tempting to just pick up the phone and get into a habit of doom scrolling. But instead of doom scrolling, I would advise going for a screen usage limitation, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, depending on how you're starting and how addicted you are. Perhaps, like I said, 2 hours, and then limiting it down to 1 hour and under 1 hour in times to come. So that is how you can begin with this journey, right? One other thing which I would like to mention when we are talking about this social media consumption is its negative impact on our mental health. Now, negative impact on mental health, what I mean by this is when we get into a habit of comparisons and judging ourselves, and this competitive nature, upholding false beauty standards, all these things can have a very detrimental effect on our mental health. Because the things which you are seeing on Instagram and on these social media outlets, these things appear to be beautiful to you, and then you begin comparing yourself with them, right? You're thinking, oh my god, this person is having the best time of their life and I am not, therefore I'm doing worse than him. No, you're not. You're doing something which the other person is not doing. Perhaps that person is going through some other troubles which you are not going through. And the reason he's coming to social media to show these beauty standards is because he wants the world to know, to know that yeah, he's doing really well. And more importantly, perhaps he's fooling himself into thinking that yeah, I'm doing relatively better than others, therefore I'm happy, right? So that can be one way to look at it, but that is actually not very important. The most important part is that when we get into that comparison, when we start comparing these beauty standards, that okay, oh, that is so wonderful, and look at me where I'm at, it's not so wonderful where I'm at right now, then it becomes a problem. Also, when we get into this comparison and the competitive nature, that this person is earning more money than me, and hence he's able to afford this lifestyle, and I'm not, therefore I'm doing something which is not so great in life, and it becomes very destructive. It is detrimental to your mental well-being, and it causes a lot of damage, right? I'm sure you will agree on that. So this is something which we need to avoid altogether, because this is going to be quite dangerous for your overall well-being, and it is going to have lasting impacts on how you proceed with your lives. So this is something which we must avoid altogether. So another thing which we can look into is some strategies to avoid these things, right? So one thing which I think is quite important is having our self-control. Like we saw in Ephesians and Romans, being wise, making use of every opportunity that we have. That is something which we must have in order to mitigate the damage caused by excessive use of technology. So the way we need to proceed with that is through time management for one. Second thing is supplementing all these destructive and these negative and these toxic applications that we have with far more useful and productive applications and platforms and social media outlets, so as to boost our productivity, boost our workflow, make us more healthy, and get us into a habit of positive thinking as opposed to the negative thinking which is influenced by these toxic applications. So yeah, these are some strategies which we can practice to incorporate a healthy use of technology as opposed to the negative one. So another thing which we can do to mitigate this is prioritize our real world connections, right? Doing things in the real world rather than in the digital space. When we give more time and allocate more time to the real tasks at hand, the tasks in the real world that we have in our everyday lives, we are automatically limiting the time we can allow to invest in the digital platforms. And that is more useful and is a healthier way to spend leisurely time. Now, to close this entire video, I would like to present a thought for you so that you can think through the week. And the purpose of this thought is to just get you into this this train of thought so that you can evaluate how you are using technology and in what ways you can prevent being overrun by these negative and toxic points of technology and gadgets. Now, the question which I'd like to ask you is this: how is your relationship with technology affecting your relationship with God? Right? And also during this week, I want you to be more mindful in how you take steps in your digital lives, the lives which you are leading in your applications and the social media and on the internet. What steps you can take digitally to be more Christ-like and have a Christ-like living, right? So that's something which we can do consciously, myself included. And lastly, I would also like to open this discussion down in the comments that how has technology impacted you? How you spend your everyday interacting with gadgets and technology? For what purpose do you use it? Is it entertainment or work? Both or only one? How much time do you spend? And just fill the comments up with your screen times on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and maybe we can have a competition. I'll let you know that my highest screen time on Instagram has been 5 hours, which was I think last year. Since then it has come down to less than 1 hour, and very soon I think I'll bring it down to half an hour. But yeah, that's my journey. That's how bad it was and how I have tried to just bring it down to this half an hour figure that I'm currently standing at today. So yeah, just fill up the comments. Tell me your suggestions, how you would approach this problem of technology and navigating life in this digital age as a Christian. How would you approach it? What are some suggestions you have in your heart, in your mind? Just let me know. Okay. So once again, thank you for being here, and see you in the next one. Good night. Bye bye.